today I want us to reflect on the demise of guys. Guys are flaming out academically, they're wiping out socially with girls and sexually with women. Other than that, there's not much of a problem.
When it comes to test scores, girls have essentially closed the math gap with boys, but boys have not closed the reading gap with girls. Reading scores show girls 7 points ahead by 4th grade, a difference that grows to 10 points by 8th grade and remains there through high school.
What are the causes? Well, it's an unintended consequence. I think it's excessive internet use in general, excessive video gaming, excessive new access to pornography. The problem is these are arousal addictions. Drug addiction, you simply want more. Arousal addiction, you want different. Drugs, you want more of the same, different. So you need the novelty, you need the arousal, you need to be sustained. And the problem is the industry is supplying it. Jane McGonigal told us last year that by the time a boy is 21, he's played 10,000 hours of video games, most of that in isolation. As you remember, Cindy Gallup said boys don't know the difference between making love, men between making love and doing porn. The average boy now watches 50 porn video clips a week. And there's some guy watching 100 and the porn
throughout development seem to be reaching maturity 1 to 2+ years ahead of the boys' brains. And we know this. I've just mentioned this process of myelination, of connectivity. Well, the girls appear to myelinate, to cause the closure of this adult process 2 or 3 years earlier than boys. And when you look at brain growth, what happens across development is your brain grows and then it actually starts to prune itself a little bit as you become adult-like. So the number of brain cells in your brain is actually comes down a little bit to become adult-like. You want that. You don't want. It's a part of a pruning that's important. So when we look at when that happens, it happens a little bit earlier in girls than it does in boys. So actually, boys are completing the process into their late teens and early 20s, whereas girls are completing this process of connectivity and sort of the pruning part of the brain more towards the end of the teenage years, middle to end of the teenage years. Now, given that lag, it makes some people have suggested that we might consider some gender-based learning.
All right, we'll start this Wednesday with what's being called one of the best kept secrets in education. See if you agree. Science confirms now that girls outperform boys in school, and apparently this is true at all ages and all subjects all over the world. Researchers say they don't know exactly why. They have a few theories. One is that girls focus more on mastering the material while boys just aim to get a good score. Another is that parents encourage girls more because they expect them to perform poorly. And finally, that girls are just better at concentrating in class.
That's
it. We
That's
have focus.
Boys have trouble focusing over long periods of time. No question about it.
Yeah, it's interesting, though a little disturbing too, because you'd like to see that be even more equal.
True.
I'm curious whether part of this is that boys are rewarded among each other for literally being too cool for school, for not being that invested or thinking there's much reward in academic achievement.
When I started the program, it was for that reason. It was I had smart boys in my class who were failing, and I said, "Why are you all failing my class? Like, I'm here for you to be able to be successful." And they that they said, "Well, you don't get respect walking around with a big heavy backpack. That's not cool, right? So if you're going to be cool, you got to act certain ways, and you can't be too smart." And so we began to just try and figure out strategies for them to be able to not only be successful, but also feel like they were being cool to who they were trying to impress, which were most times the girls.
Christina, how